There is one building that has never been built, and its construction, before a single stone is laid, has already divided the world. Think about that. A structure that doesn't exist yet, a plan that hasn't been officially announced, a blueprint that lives only in theology and prophecy and the quiet conversations of scholars who speak carefully and in private. And yet, governments have contingency plans for it. Militaries have run the scenarios. Intelligence agencies track every development connected to it in real time. Why would the world prepare so deeply for something that isn't happening? Unless they know something about how fast it could happen. The earthquake does not send a letter before it arrives. To understand why this single idea can move armies and reshape alliances, you have to understand what the temple actually means, not politically, deeper than that. For Jewish tradition, it is not a building. It is the meeting point between heaven and earth, the place where the divine presence rested. Its destruction was not just historical loss. It was a wound in the spiritual fabric of the world, carried for 2,000 years, mourned every single year on a specific day, still observed today. For Islam, the location holds the third holiest site on earth. Al-Aqsa Mosque, the place of the night journey, sacred beyond political negotiation, non-negotiable to over 1 billion people in a way that no diplomatic language has ever fully captured. Two of the world's largest faiths, one hill, one set of coordinates, and both believe that what happens there matters to God. Now ask yourself, what happens when one side decides to act? When two storms meet, the sky does not remain the sky. Here is what makes this different from every other geopolitical flashpoint. Most conflicts are about resources, oil, land, water, trade routes, cold calculations of interest. This is not that. This is about something that cannot be negotiated away, cannot be traded, cannot be compensated with territory elsewhere, because its value is not political. It is eternal, at least to the people who believe in it. And when something is eternal, the mathematics of compromise stop working. That is why diplomats go quiet on this specific question. That is why certain proposals are drafted and then shelved, not because the conversation isn't happening, because the people who know what's at stake understand that saying it out loud changes things. Words about this location don't inform, they ignite. Even now, right now, there are movements, preparations, organizations dedicated specifically to the temple's restoration, architectural plans, ritual items crafted to ancient specification, priestly lineages being documented, training underway for ceremonies that haven't been practiced in 2,000 years. This is not theory. This is infrastructure. The one who sharpens his sword is not doing so to hang it on the wall. Imagine the morning the announcement comes. Not a war declaration, not a political crisis, just an announcement, a construction permit, a government decision, a statement that something is beginning. Within hours, not days, hours, every capital city with a significant Muslim population becomes a different place. Not because of manipulation, because of genuine, deep, centuries-old connection to what is being disturbed. Within the same hours, supporters around the world respond. Some in celebration, some in defense, some in that particular kind of fervor that emerges when people believe history is fulfilling itself before their eyes. And the media? Every channel, every platform, every algorithm pushes this to the top of everything, but they don't push the same version. They push their version, shaped by who funds them, shaped by which government they operate under, shaped by which audience they need to keep watching. So the same event is simultaneously a miracle and a provocation, a fulfillment and an aggression, a beginning and an attack. 1 billion people see one thing, another billion see the opposite, and both are certain. Two people can stand under the same rain and disagree on whether it fell. Now here is where prophecy enters, and this is where every tradition converges in a way that should make you stop breathing for a moment. In Islamic tradition, there are narrations about end-time events centered in this exact region, signs preceding the final hour, specific developments in the land of Jerusalem that signal something much larger is approaching. In Christian eschatology, the third temple is not just possible, it is expected. It is the stage on which the final act of human history is supposed to unfold. Its construction isn't a warning. To some, it is the signal. In Jewish messianic expectation, the temple's rebuilding precedes the arrival of what they have awaited for millennia. 3 faiths, 3 prophetic traditions, completely separate in theology, all watching the same location, all waiting. And here's the question that none of the news coverage, none of the political analysis, none of the diplomatic briefings will ask directly. What if they're all right about the significance? What if this location is exactly as important as all 3 traditions have always claimed? What does that mean for what comes next? Up the river that 3 maps call deep, trust that it will not let you walk across it. Global powers are not neutral on this. They cannot be. Every superpower has alliances on both sides of this question. Every military calculation in the region must account for what happens to its alliances the moment the situation changes, which means the moment something begins, truly begins, on that hill, the world does not observe. The world is pulled in, not by choice, by the weight of every commitment, every alliance, every promise made over decades of geopolitical positioning. And conflicts that begin with commitments tend to end much larger than anyone planned. No one boards the ship to drown, but the storm does not ask for the passenger list. So here is the question that history will eventually answer, and the question that you are living inside of right now, whether you realize it or not. Is the world actually prepared for the morning when this is no longer theoretical? When the machinery of global reaction, military, diplomatic, religious, economic, begins moving simultaneously in response to one construction site? Because preparation requires awareness, and awareness requires asking the uncomfortable question before the moment demands it. The people of every previous turning point in history had the same opportunity we have now. They just didn't take it seriously, until they had to, and by then, the choice had already been made for them.